Christmas has always been warm and cheerful for me. Glowing tree lights, snow against the windows, and the smell of cinnamon drifting through the house. But the Christmas of 2019 changed everything I thought I knew about safety, joy, and especially what watches us while we sleep. I lived alone in a quiet neighborhood back then. My house sat at the corner of a cul-de-sac, wrapped in bright red and white Christmas lights that I had proudly hung myself. It felt peaceful, like something from a postcard. But peace has a way of fooling you, right before it cracks open into horror. It started small. Night 1. I was drinking hot cocoa on the couch when I heard something tapping outside. Soft, rhythmic. Tap, tap, tap. At first, I assumed it was icicles shifting in the wind, but the sound was too steady, too intentional. I pulled back the curtain and looked out into the cold December dark. Nothing. Just lights, snow, and silence. Yet the feeling of being watched crawled through me like frost down my spine. That night, I slept lightly, waking every hour with the same thought running through my mind. Someone is out there. Night 2. The tapping returned, louder. Tap, tap, tap. This time, I got up, opened the door, and stepped out onto my porch. The world was dead quiet. But then I noticed something strange. One of my Christmas light strands, the one around the window, was torn off, hanging loose. Something had been close. Someone had touched my house. I went back inside, locked every door, and closed the curtains tight. But that didn't stop the sound. This time it came from the roof. Slow, heavy shifting, footsteps. My heart slammed so hard I thought it would break my ribs. I grabbed my phone to call the police, but the noises stopped instantly, like whoever was up there froze the second I reacted. No more footsteps, no wind, just the hum of Christmas lights and a silence so deep it felt alive. I barely slept. Night 3. This was the night everything broke. I woke up around 2:43 a.m. to the sound of my doorbell. One single, sharp ring. Ding dong. No one rings doorbells at that hour, especially not during a snowstorm. I went to the peephole, and what I saw still burns in my memory like a scar. A tall man, extremely tall, standing completely motionless in the snow. No coat, no hat, just a pale face and a smile that looked too stretched, too wide to be human. He didn't blink. He didn't move. He just stared straight ahead, like he knew I was watching. I backed away slowly, but then I noticed something even worse. His eyes weren't fixed on the door. They were pointed slightly upward, toward the living room window, where the Christmas lights glowed. He wasn't looking at the doorbell. He was looking at my house, my lights. I called the police with shaking hands, whispering even though I was alone. When they arrived, the man was gone. Only footprints remained, leading around the house, circling it again and again like he had been studying it for hours. One officer asked if I had any idea who it could be. I said no, but deep down, I felt something darker. He hadn't come randomly. He had chosen my home, and he wasn't finished. Night 4. If you think this ends with him disappearing, you're wrong. Because that night, Christmas Eve, I woke to a sound I'll never forget. Jingle bells inside my house. Not on the porch, not on the roof. Inside, slow, dragging footsteps followed, like something heavy was being pulled downstairs. My lights flickered. My phone had no service, and I could hear breathing, wet, heavy, animal-like, somewhere in the darkness below me. I locked my bedroom door and pressed my back against it, shaking. From behind the wood, a voice whispered, low and cracked like frozen branches. You looked at me. The doorknob turned. Not fast, slow. Deliberate. Like he was enjoying every second. I held my breath, waiting, praying the door would hold. After a long minute, the turning stopped. Silence returned. But when I finally worked up the courage to open the door and look downstairs, the lights were ripped down, glass ornaments shattered, and written on the wall in red, maybe paint, maybe not, were 3 words. Merry Christmas, friend. The man was never caught, and every year since, I leave the lights off. If Christmas is meant to be bright and joyful, then I learned the truth. Some things wait for the light so they can find you. I used to work security at Willow Creek Mall, the kind of place that went all out during Christmas. Massive trees, giant red ornaments, music playing through every speaker. But Christmas Eve of 2020 was different. Everything was closing early. Snowstorms were expected. Most stores already shut their gates. I was one of the last to clock in, the only guard scheduled overnight. I quit the next morning. The footage from every camera that night was corrupted, hours missing. But sometimes, when I drive past the mall in December, I see a red figure through the glass, standing completely still, waiting for someone working alone. Around 1:23 a.m., one of the cameras flickered, camera 4, children's play zone. At first it showed nothing but the small plastic slide, candy cane props, and a half-lit Christmas tree. But then the static cleared, and I saw him. A man dressed as Santa, just standing there, completely still, back turned to the camera. No kids, no employees, no reason for him to be there. I stared at the screen for a full minute before grabbing my radio, but there was no one to call. I returned to the security room, uneasy. My screen was clean, except for camera 4. The Santa was there again. This time he was closer, facing the camera. The image was grainy, but I could see something off. His beard looked wet, like it was soaked. His eyes were wide, unblinking, and he wasn't breathing, not even a rise in his chest. I walked through the mall toward the play area, footsteps echoing like I was being followed by myself. When I got there, the whole place was empty. No Santa, nothing disturbed. Just that tree with broken lights, flickering like it was breathing. The weird thing? No footprints in the snow like fake powder around the display. None. The footage suddenly cut out, black screen. And then, behind me, I heard slow breathing. Deep, heavy, like someone massive was standing inches away. I didn't turn around. I just stared forward, frozen, until the breathing stopped. When I finally forced myself to look, the security room was empty. But right beside my chair, someone had placed a red Santa hat. I hadn't heard anyone enter. Every monitor blinked on at once, and every single one showed him. The Santa, not in the play zone anymore, but walking, slowly, down different mall corridors, each feed showing him closer, 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 his smile stretching wider than human skin should allow. I slammed the power switch and our AN.AS. I reached the main exit. The snow outside was piling up, a full whiteout storm. The doors refused to unlock. Electricity popped. Lights went out. In the reflection of the glass, right behind me, I saw the red suit. He stood inches away, face level with mine, though he didn't move. His mouth slowly opened. No words, just a faint jingle. bells softly chiming inside his chest like bones rattling. And then the power cut back. The doors unlocked. He was gone. Christmas isn't meant to feel empty, but the December of 2020 was the quietest winter of my life. I had just moved into a small suburban neighborhood, rows of pale houses, identical lawns, and strangers who barely spoke past a wave. The streets usually glowed with decorations, but that year, almost no one bothered. Only one house, directly across from mine, stood out. It was covered in stunning red lights, shimmering snowflake projectors, and a huge 10-foot Christmas tree in the yard, decorated with real glass ornaments and tinsel that sparkled like ice. It looked beautiful, too beautiful for such a silent place. The house belonged to a man named Reese. He lived alone, much like I did. He always seemed distant, polite but hollow-eyed, like someone who wanted to look cheerful but hadn't felt joy in a long time. We only spoke once. Me, your tree looks amazing. Him, small pause, it has to. At the time, I didn't understand what he meant. But after Christmas Eve, I would never forget those words. December 23rd. I noticed Reese hadn't left his house in 2 days. The lights were always on, but his car never moved. His curtains never shifted. I assumed he was just enjoying the holidays indoors. That night around 11 p.m., I was staring at the tree through my window, half asleep, when I saw something strange. One of the ornaments moved. Not from wind. The air was still. It swung deliberately, like someone pushed it. Then another, and another, until the whole tree shivered, quietly, like something inside it was breathing. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, told myself I was just tired, but deep down, I felt it. Something wasn't right about that tree. December 24th. Snow continued falling heavy. The streets were dead silent. I spent most of the day inside, avoiding the feeling of being watched every time I glanced out the window. Later that evening, I saw 2 police cars outside Reese's house. Red and blue lights flashing over the perfect Christmas display. I stepped outside, wrapped in a coat, and asked what happened. One officer simply said, "Neighbor reported a smell. We're checking inside." A smell? From that immaculate, glowing home? Minutes later, 3 officers came out. Pale, silent, shaken. One of them quietly closed the door behind him, leaned toward the other, and whispered something that froze me where I stood. "He's been dead for at least a week." A week. A week. Meaning Reese died before I ever saw that tree move. Before the lights came on. Before he ever spoke to me. My stomach turned cold. Because if Reese was dead, who was still turning on his lights? They removed the body overnight. The house was dark now, empty, quiet. Except for the tree. The same bright red lights. The same shimmering ornaments. Still lit. Still moving. At dawn, I woke to scraping sounds outside, like metal dragging against pavement. I looked out and saw 2 men walking away from the yard, hauling a giant trash bag. The tree remained, and in place of the ornaments, something new hung from the branches. Small objects. Dark. Heavy. I opened my door and stepped closer, heart hammering. What I saw hanging from that tree made me step back so fast I slipped on the ice. Pieces of clothing. Children's gloves. A woman's scarf. A torn fragment of a blood-speckled shirt. And at the very top, where the star should be, a wallet. Reese's wallet. Inside was his ID and a photograph. Not of him. Not of family. It was a photo taken from across the street. Of my house. My window. Me. The date written beneath it was December 22nd. The same night, I saw the ornaments move. I realized then someone, or something, had been watching me all along. And that tree, glowing and beautiful, had been a signal, a warning, and a trap, all at once. Christmas night is supposed to feel magical. Carols, warm lights, families together. But some Christmases don't bring joy. Some bring things you can't explain, things that don't belong in this world. This happened to me in 2017. I was driving home from my sister's house late at night. Snow falling so thick it looked like ash in the headlights. The roads were nearly empty, just the hum of my engine and endless white stretching ahead. Around 1:40 a.m., I saw something in the distance. A small figure walking on the side of the road. Slow, barely moving, too small to be an adult. As I got closer, I realized it was a child. No coat, barefoot in the snow, wearing a thin, dirty red Christmas sweater that hung off him like it belonged to someone bigger. He didn't look up as I pulled beside him. He just walked, breathing hard, shivering violently. I rolled down my window. "Hey, you're freezing. Are you lost?" The boy didn't speak at first, just stared forward with wide, unfocused eyes. Then he whispered, voice small and broken, "I can't find my mom." Those words hit me like ice water. What kind of parent leaves a child out here alone in a snowstorm? I unlocked the door immediately and told him to get inside. He climbed in slowly, movement stiff like every muscle hurt. His skin was pale, not winter pale, but sickly gray, almost blue. His lips cracked, dried blood at the corners. I turned the heat up. "Where do you live?" I asked gently. He hugged himself tightly. "In the woods." My grip tightened on the steering wheel. No houses were within miles. Just forest. Something was wrong. He barely spoke, only giving short answers. "Me, what's your name?" "Him, Evan." "Me, how long were you out there?" "Him, long pause, a long time." His voice sounded fragile, like speaking hurt. But the moment I tried to call the police, he snapped his head toward me so fast I flinched. "No police." His tone was sharp, almost angry, but his expression stayed blank, eyes lifeless. Something about the way he said it felt older than a child, like something else was speaking through him. After 20 minutes of silent driving, he lifted his hand slowly and pointed out the window toward the tree-line. "Turn here." There was no road, just darkness and snow between trees. My headlights barely touched the first row of trunks. "There's nothing there," I whispered. But he leaned closer, eyes suddenly wide and bright, like they were lit from inside. "She's waiting." A chill crawled through my bones. It felt wrong to follow. Every instinct screamed, "Don't go. Don't leave the road. Don't go into the dark." But then he began to cry. Soft, shaky sobs, the kind that sound unbearably real. "Please, I just want to go home." Against my better judgment, I turned. My tires crunched through fresh snow, branches scraping the sides of the car. After a few minutes, something appeared ahead, a cabin. Old, shut down, windows boarded, roof half sunken under snow. No lights, no movement, completely abandoned. I parked and turned to Evan, heart pounding. He was already staring at the cabin door, smiling now. Not a child's smile. Too wide, too calm. "She's inside." I walked him to the porch, the old boards groaning under our feet. My breath fogged white in the air, but his didn't. He wasn't breathing. Not anymore. Before I could react, he looked up at me, eyes now dark, empty, endless, and said in a voice far deeper than before, "Thank you for bringing me back." The door creaked open by itself, and from the darkness inside, something stepped forward, tall, shadowed, arms too long, fingers black like frostbite. Evan's small hand slid from mine, cold as ice, and he walked toward the figure without hesitation. I stood frozen, unable to move, unable to speak, just listening to his final whisper as both disappeared into the pitch-black cabin. "We find another next year." The door slammed shut. Silence swallowed the woods. And then, in the reflection of my car window, I saw a movement inside the cabin. Multiple small faces, watching, smiling, waiting to be found.